Welcome back to another episode of Tech is Art. Episode 15. We've done 15 of these things now, but this one feels like it's going to be a little bit more different from my usual episodes. So, I have a bunch of new subscribers, a bunch of new viewers. So, there's new eyes and ears on this right now. So, let me very, very quickly explain what this is. Why is this a podcast? Why is this different from the other videos that I've done? Well, I define a podcast as something that's unedited, slower tempo, right? Something more real. I wouldn't say behind the scenes, but something that doesn't have to do the whole song and dance. And I mean literally like with the music, the jump cuts, the edits, the zooming in, me getting really loud and animated. I haven't had my coffee yet this morning. Animated. See, I'm gonna keep that in. That's the beauty of a podcast. You get to see the errors. So, also, I'm not recording to my SD card on my Sony. I am recording directly on my computer through OBS. So, hence why I got the headphones on. If you're watching on YouTube, I am monitoring my audio in live time. So, it's a little bit different. Everything is just more real, slower pace, slower tempo, but hopefully just as informative. So, with that, I just want to talk about this real quick. I don't know why in the last couple videos now, I don't know why I started removing the clip from my Sony and then I kept that in. I know. So this is the cover. Well, I dropped that. See, this is what I'm talking about. I know I'm not going to edit any of this, so now all the errors get to come through. So this is my little Sony cover thing here, right? So this is what's on my camera, and then I unplug it as like what I did for this one, or unclip it. And I don't know why I started doing that. I think if I remember correctly, so what happened is I recorded a bunch of episodes like all at once. And one hasn't even gone out yet, so that should go out. I paused on releasing that one because the momentum of the iPhone 16e picked up so quickly that I was like, it feels weird now just changing subjects again. It didn't feel weird in the moment because I did an iPhone 16e video. Then I talked about my next iPad I was going to buy. And then I had a whole different video that was going to be completely irrelevant from either of those two. But then 16e blew up so big, I was like, I got to do a follow-up. So that's when I did the Dear 16e Skeptics and Enthusiasts, right? But I recorded I recorded 3 videos all at once. And what started off as me just kind of like not rushing, but I hit record and I forgot to uncap it. So then I uncapped it and I started. When I was editing, I actually thought I was going to cut that part out and just get right into it. And when I was editing it, I kind of I dropped the footage right in front of my intro card. And it just, I don't know. I knew when I was recording it, I was going to recap it again because in my mind, I was just kind of screwing around at that point. I was like, well, I took it off. I might as well put it back. And I thought maybe I was going to cut that too. I did it in a way that I knew I could cut the opening and closing just fine, and it wouldn't like interfere with the transition out or in. But then I kind of liked it. So then the other videos, I keep doing that now. So that's a new thing. It literally just started for no reason at all, no purpose, just because. So yeah, there's that, and I'm still playing with everything in regards to my introduction, not my introduction, but my presentation of things. I'm still playing with my format because I can, right? All last year, my desk was actually to give you more bearing about my orientation here. My desk was actually over here. It was facing this way, and I have a window that goes outside to my backyard that way. And then my backdrop that was in the videos all last year is this wall that's over here. So if you see this plant here, this is the one that would normally be behind me. If you're watching it, would be on on the right side. So this is the plant here now. So I took my desk and I moved it around because I'm trying to do something with my wall here as I'm building my desk out, or my studio out. So yeah, there's that. So while all that to say, I remember I was going with that. All that to say that me trying to get my orientation and my bearings and just my flow of things, I'm just playing around, screwing around with new ideas, just having fun with it. As a visual representation of, like, don't take any of this stuff too seriously, right? So with that, let's actually talk about my my main topic for today, which what I really mean is what do I mean by regular people? And I know where I'm getting at when I say that. I know what I'm trying to convey when I say that. But there's a lot of people who seem to be offended. Like, what? How dare you? How dare you not call me regular because I care about the screen, the screen performance, and I care about the cameras and mags. Like, how dare you? And it's not, if you guys are watching this, which I don't know. I don't know who stays and who comes. All I do is I see comments and I see viewer numbers go up. I don't know who they are. But if you're watching this, it's not to be, now that I'm not putting on the show, like, I want to use this time to just, really break that part down. I'm not trying to offend, right? Because in that same, if we were to go off of that metrics, I'm not a regular person either. And I think that's a good thing. Be weird, be different, be, isn't that the whole Apple, Steve Jobs, you think different? Like, be different, be eccentric, be neurotic about this stuff. I'm neurotic about this stuff, right? I care about the specs personally, just because I'm coming out in defense of the 16E, like that. I'm coming out of from the stance of somebody who understands it. That phone is not for me, and I understand that too. It's okay, like, everyone who gets all uppity about this stuff, like, it's okay to support and understand a product that's not for you. A lot of people don't get the base models anymore. I do. One, because I'm proving a point for myself. I'm proving a point that I don't need I'm the type of guy who wants the best of the best. Believe it or not. I have a MacBook Pro here, okay? I had a iPad Pro since 2018. I do want the best of the best. That's the enthusiast in me. But I can also appreciate the advancements in the non-pros, or what we now call those pros, right? Like, I can appreciate what that is, and I understand that not everybody is me. What I need from my tech products is not the same as what any of you need from yours. Every single person, whether I consider you a regular person or a tech enthusiast, all of us, what I look for in tech fundamentally will be different from what you look for in tech, because I'm a musician, because I'm a content creator, because I capture and record and manipulate sound. I have a very specific use case for my stuff. Same reason why I need a new iPad for my cover art, my album covers, my thumbnails, my everything. Like, I'm a very specific person who needs very specific things, or who wants to use them. And that might not be you, right? So that's okay. So what I mean by regular people is, the one thing I noticed in the comments over those last two videos, the 16E videos, is that when I would even talk about the cost and I'm defending the price increase for what it is, I would get comments on both the videos, but I was getting a lot of comments saying that these guys who are going to get this phone, like, they're not even thinking, nor do they care about the price because of their trade-in value. of the phone that they're upgrading from. So I'm a bit gassy. I'm about to burp or cough. Never mind. I don't got to burp. So these guys and gals, everybody, boys, girls, men, women, the they, thems, they all tell me that, I was seeing the trend very quickly that they don't even care what the price is because the trade-in value for a phone that they're doing offsets so much of that cost either way, and or they're getting carrier deals with it, and or they just don't care because no, that's the fun I'm going to get regardless. So they're bringing up points that I wouldn't even think about because I'm not the normie. I'm not the normal person in this situation. I'm just trying to represent their cases. That's where I got the idea about the whole getting a case with MagSafe thing. I would have never thought about that. Because admittedly, I don't like using cases, even though I have one. I take it off most of the time when I'm home. I like to have the case off. But now I have a baby, right? And he likes to grab my phone and just throw it to hell and back. So he doesn't, I keep the case on now. Like my case is torn, scratched, beat up, and I realize how bad my phone would be right now if I didn't have the case on it. So anyway, MagSafe on a case, most people have cases. They use a case and it's going to have MagSafe on it. So I didn't even think about that argument initially until the comments came through. I didn't even think about the pricing as a whole until the people were telling me that, like, I don't really care because trade-in value. Most people are going to trade in their phones. And most people will never go through Apple directly to do this. So their carrier in the United States, the big three is T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T. Those three, they're going to give you very specific deals for your trade-in because they still want your business. So I look at that. I'm like, that's such a normal way of looking at things. I'm a guy, here's how normal I'm not. I'm the guy who sells his phones on Swappa or alike because I get a better value selling it to a person directly than if I was to go through a store. No different than like trading in a car versus selling a car to a third-party person. Same thing. I'm the type of guy who goes out of their way to sell the products directly, and I become the seller instead of working through, a business, a shop, or something. So I'm not the normal in that situation. Most people don't want to deal with it. They're not going to deal with it. So all these guys who are getting these phones, they know what they're doing. And they don't, and then ultimately they don't care. I honestly, if I'm being so transparent about this, I wasn't expecting all these normal folks to come through in my comments and talk to me. I vastly underestimated the eyeballs of normal people who don't really care about this stuff but saw my video. I was making those videos in the hopes that I was talking to people who were more like me, the tech enthusiasts and stuff like that, because that's how I try to tailor this channel. But I try to give nuance through the perspective of real life scenarios. So seeing the comments come through, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people. A lot of people agree. Even the tech fanatics are agreeing with me, which I'm shocked. I had a comment. One guy was just like, no, this is wrong. You're wrong, and nobody agrees with you. And just to be petty about this for a second, here's another reason why I like to record on OBS. I can now share my screen. When you look at my video here, 95% of the people who watched my last video for the Dear Skeptics and Enthusiasts, 95% of the people agree with me, and 91.5%, 92% people of my initial, people are wrong with the iPhone 16 also agree with me. So still over 90% of the people agree with me, which I wasn't expecting because I don't know. And to my don't mind it, this is my channel members, you guys get private exclusive videos. That one's for you. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I forgot because I plugged my phone in. You guys ooh-wee. see? Whoa. I'm sorry you guys have to see me this close on YouTube. I haven't used Continuity Cam in a long time. Mainly because I like using my Sony, right? Like that's just more fun for me. But I mean, since we're here, I was talking about my desk used to be right over there. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna get off of the iPhone camera. Woo! All right, that was fun. No, it wasn't. So, normal people have a perspective of things that even I have lost track on because I'm too in the weeds. The analogy of saying the forest through the trees. Sometimes, admittedly, 100%. Again, transparency here. Sometimes even I've lost the plot, and I try to stay grounded, humbled by the real people in the world, not the students, children, college, or whoever who haven't had real life experience yelling at me about why I'm wrong on something, and not that I take it to heart, but just be in my own little echo chamber. I know where the average person comes from, and sometimes I lose track of that. I lose sight of that. But it is what it is. I do not take back anything that I said in either of those two videos. I stand by every sentiment, every point that I've made about that. And surprisingly, a big YouTuber, I hate that word. I hate saying YouTuber, but it's what it is. Linus from, LGM, Linus Tech Tips. Oh, Linus agrees with me. he put out a video or a clip from his podcast, which I will link that video in the description on YouTube for you guys to go watch and check out if you haven't seen it. But he's saying that people are missing the point of the iPhone 16e, and he agrees with me. And I'm like, yes, finally, validation. If Linus agrees with me about Apple, one of the most anti-Apple guys, agrees with me about this stance on Apple, I feel somewhat validated, just a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little bit validated. Now I feel a little bit more supported in the stance, because he brought up something that I was so steadfast on that I'm not going to budge on, and that was the chip. He was talking, one of the first things he was talking about was that he talks about getting a phone case that has the magnetic rings. I'm like, check, fine, something I didn't even think about initially. And he brought up the chip, which was my biggest thing. It has the newest chip, and in his analysis of it made a lot of sense to me, even more. Which is why I think you guys should go watch it after this. Because he basically said what Apple has done is he brought the SE concept, even though we're not saying SE anymore, now we're saying 16E, but 16E is going to be on par, in line with all the other 16s for software support simultaneously. So all these phones are going to get the updates together. With the newest chip, and the reason why this is one of the few times I don't support getting a refurbished phone or something used for normal, regular people, why I don't condone that one, is the software support. This will now be on par for all of the 16 series of getting software support. And these are the people who are going to need it more than someone like you or me, because I'm going to upgrade long before my phone is no longer being supported. That's just who I am. I'm a guy who upgrades basically every year. I try not to. And one year I didn't, thank God. And surprisingly, it was for the 14, the one that we just killed off. I hated the 14. I love the 13 mini. I'm a 13 mini guy. I love the 13 mini so much I had it for 2 years, and I proudly repped that phone. And that's what changed my whole perspective on phones and consumer tech. And I stopped chasing the best of the best. After the 13 mini came out, I was, as much as you can, platonically be in love with something that's an inanimate object. I loved that 13 mini so much. And I had the green one because I'm the green guy. But before the green one came out, because that came out halfway through the cycle, I wanted that product red. Oh, did I want that product red? So nice. Anyway, so Linus was talking about the support that comes with the A18, right? I think it's the A18 chip, and I didn't even think that far ahead, and it makes so much sense business wise to have the best chip in the cheapest phone, because he was saying no Android alternative is going to give you the best chip for $600. They just won't do it. You can find cheaper phones with worse processors in there, but you are not going to find top of the line. It's like he was talking about, I don't remember on the spot, but somebody was arguing, like, because I think it's like a live stream or something, and he was like, somebody was like, no, what about this one? I was like, no, that was not even 3 nanometer, and he was getting very specific about it. I'm just thinking, like, this is exactly what I mean. Regular normal people don't care. They don't know what 3 nanometer means. They don't care about millimeter wave. They only care about the efficiencies that they're going to get out of this new phone that they are upgrading from. That's me saying it as simply as possible. And Linus backed that up for me. So, Linus, you don't know who I am, but thank you. Again, that phone isn't for me, because I care about the weird nuances. I'm the guy who cares about camera specs. I'm the guy who cares about MagSafe. I'm the guy who cares about even the more design aesthetic part of having the maybe like a color preference or something. I care about computational photography and videography. I care about machine learning. I care about software improvements. I care about AI. I care about all that stuff. The 16E was never meant for me. And with that clarity, that's why I think I can defend it that much more for the people who aren't to me. Someone like my mother and other friends in my immediate circle, right here in my little, state that I hang out with these guys. I know they would very much enjoy the 16E. But yeah. So I just want to say, unlike other podcasts, this is not going to go for hours. It's not even going to go for an hour. I don't even make it to like an hour most times. I think every time. I normally just like to do a deep dive on a topic of choice, this case talking about the people who would buy these phones. And then I wrap it up. And I'm only like iterating how this flows, because I know so many people are going to watch this who haven't seen or heard of my Tech is Art podcast. So, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to now we're moving on to the part where we do the outro. I'm not going to do that again going forward. This is just because I know the analytics, they tell me I'm shocked about the amount of support I've received over those videos, the subscribers, the engagement. Thank you. Whether you agree with me or not, I mean, even if you're, I don't even know if they're here. I don't know. Even the people who don't agree with me are here. But whether you agree with me or not, I read all the comments. Well, God knows I try. And I'm pretty good normally about responding to people, but the wave of comments that came through, it was too. I can't keep up. I literally, as I've recorded this episode today, 3 comments just came through just on that, and it's happening quickly, so I can't keep up. But just know I see your comments, and I like seeing your guys' stories. You guys are sharing how this is applicable to you. Even if you don't agree with me, you're sharing your stories about why you don't like. For the most part, people are not being rude about this with me, which is kind of cool to see. I'm not used to that. I know how toxic the tech community can be. I've been cursed at, called names, you name, there's nothing somebody can say to me that I haven't heard before. So that's not happening here. The people who don't agree with me are making their cases. And I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. I disagree, obviously. but that doesn't invalidate your stance no less than it doesn't invalidate mine. So, what's crazier is seeing the replies. People are replying to other, like, I'm a small channel. I'm not used to seeing a comment and then a thread under that comment and a productive, lively, vibrant conversations happening in there. So that's neat. That's really neat to see. I appreciate that a lot. But all the same, where I'm getting at is thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance, I guess. And thank you for giving this podcast a chance. If you're giving me a listen. I'm going to move forward from this 16E conversation. Friday, the iPhone 16E will be out, and I'm sure it will jumpstart more conversations about the things that people don't like, about the things that people do like, things that we missed, both pro and con, things that we missed for and against iPhone 16E. So, I look forward to seeing that stuff. I don't know how many more topics I will cover on this. Maybe if new development comes up, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. So there's not much more to really dive into. I'm more interested to see how this C1 chip is going to perform with the modem. That's going to be extremely interesting for me. I'm very excited to see that. Mainly because of the implication of this iPhone 17s. And what that's going to look like going forward. But, because they're going to put, I already know they're going to put that chip in a MacBook now. And we're going to get cellular Macs. And that's really cool. I'm that guy. I'm excited about cellular Macs. But, anyway, I'm going to move forward with new topics of points of interest that are interesting to me, because I gotta stay true to myself about other things I want to talk about. The next video is definitely, it's gonna be divergent from anything with iPhones. It's gonna talk about the tech stock market, things like that. That's coming out really soon. Yeah, I just got a few more videos of points of interest that have nothing to do with iPhones that I'm going to talk about. So mentally, I'm already preparing that those videos aren't going to do well, but I don't care. They fulfill me, and that's all I care about. I cared about talking about the iPhone 16e from the stance of approving it. That it fulfilled me, and that's why I did that. I wasn't expecting that video to pop off, but yeah. Anyway, I call this podcast, Tech is Art, because this really, it's I'm being literal in that statement. And this is why people get passionate, and I like that. The idea that we can appreciate something so advanced technologically, appreciate it for what it can do, while also having it fit our aesthetic as a person. That's art. That's art. Might not be the art that you can paint, or in my case, the art that you can play musically, but it is art. And one thing I've learned is that we are all connected by it. And that's where I came up with the idea of the Randy Nexus. The Nexus is a connecting link of one or more points of interest. In this case, in this sense, for this video is an episode of Tech is Art. In this case, it's tech. So remember that we are more connected by these things than we are against each other's certain points of views, which is why I don't really let people who disagree with me bother me or affect me, because it doesn't. The underlying issue all comes from a place of passion, and that's a cool thing. That's a good thing. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm gonna put this kit. I'm actually not gonna do it, mainly because I talked about it at the beginning, and I kind of ruined the illusion. So, bye.